Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3, where today we take on one of the most powerful nations in the world, certainly the most powerful coalition of nations in the world, with two big boats full of zombies. Because I thought this was a good idea at some point. We could probably take them. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at up front? So, 5 dragons. Dragons are fun. I don't think this is a good composition. The amount of sustained fire time it takes to empty a slot in an army that is made up significantly of dragons is so much lower than the time it takes for me to eliminate a slot of like spearmen or even Phoenix Guard, who are unshielded, but still there's like 75 of them in the... I don't know. I feel like they'd be doing a lot better if they were focusing more on infantry and less on this nonsense.
This is absurd.
And then this one has some Lizardman stuff borrowed in. That's pretty fun. A couple of Razordon hunting packs. Those are neat. Those dinosaurs who basically like shoot quills at people. I think our 2 armies can take these 2 armies. The question is, can we reach them?
Admiral of the fleet.
Just barely. I feel like this is going to be... Is this worth doing? My suspicion is they're going to run. And if they run, we don't have the movement to chase them. So maybe we should make a different move. How big is this elven nation? Only 3 settlements. We could probably eliminate Eltharion. Yeah, maybe we sail north and just go for Eltharion. It leaves us in a dangerous spot if somebody decides to show up while we're not at home. But we do have armies of our allies nearby. Maybe we're okay. Ugh, I hate this. I really, really wish we had the money to put together another army, but we definitely don't. And in fact, that same money problem is going to prevent us from attacking Lothern in any way, because we need to not disrupt its economy too much. Well, Eltharion stuff is all probably pretty close together. Maybe we could just run up and crush Ifris and get out of there quickly. You know what? We're going to make this decision later. Let's do the other half of our thing first. So...
Mosley glows bright.
Okay, the ogres are up there.
Test me at your peril.
Maximilian Jaeger has fled to the Temple of Elemental Winds, which has actually a pretty...
Quivering in their boots.
I was going to say a pretty decent garrison. Let's say sizable. Let's say there's a lot of bodies in that garrison. That is 9 units that are either basic skeleton or basic zombie. You know how our garrisons are really whack? Their garrisons are like the same, except their troops don't know how to hold a gun. It's the same bodies, but with worse weapons.
Admiral of the fleet.
So yeah, I think it behooves us to just press. We can catch Jaeger in march stance with his army all tired out. I don't think this should be a problem for us to take it all.
Make them fish food.
And in fact, I think Aranessa can probably do it solo, honestly. If we have to bring Henrietta down, we can. Yeah, I was going to say, wow. Low casualties even. Yeah, I guess so. Like, what are they going to do? We're just going to tear them apart with gunfire before they get to us. There are a lot of units of Crypt Horrors here, but the problem with the Crypt Horrors is they're not fast enough to really just, like, run through all the gunfire, and they're large. They're basically impossible to miss. Yeah, we absolutely just shattered this, and then... there's an argument to be made for, like, grabbing this as a territory to execute further strikes from, I guess, because we are now further forward. I'm just going to burn it. It's fine. We don't need it.
The Queen of Tides.
Yeah, we hardly took any damage.
More bodies washed up.
See, this AI is trying a different wrong thing. Where they just completely ignore, like, mid-level troops. I think that this is one of the core problems that the AI in this army, the AI in this game has, is that it just doesn't value, sort of tier 3 heavy infantry enough. Tier 3 heavy infantry are going to form the backbone of most successful strategies.
Time to tame the cattle.
And you can definitely see that the armies that tend to do well in auto-resolve are the ones who are sort of
I have sailed the
forced
world.
to use that composition, that kind of composition, by not necessarily having access to other stuff. Okay, so we managed to get Pyromaniac and Taunt now. And the question is, what makes the most sense to pursue at this point? Because there's certainly good skills in these things. 12% reload time reduction is definitely significant. Her missile strength is bananas. Yeah, gosh, maybe we should keep laying on that. That feels really powerful.
My domain.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Before we leave Henrietta, we definitely got to throw her into
Is there.
this mode. So, where are we at with you at this point? Having crushed another one of their full armies, they're looking pretty weak in comparison to us, but not as much as I would like. They probably still have a couple of real armies. We know they have like a sort of a fake half stack here, but this bar is red enough that I would guess they might have as much as 2 full armies, really. Still, and then 3 settlements, the locations of which we know. Okay, at least we're finished with the sprawl. Do I want to pack us up at the scrap towers? I mean, we're going to lose this settlement eventually, but I guess as long as it's producing... Yeah, it's producing 130 gold per turn. It's not really a reason to vacate right now. So yeah, this is not a real army. Hanyu Port has a 14-unit garrison and walls, so it's at least somewhat defended. What does the garrison in that look like? Is it any better? No, not really. Still a lot of just like really, really bad units. Like an undead army that is heavily Graveguard, that uses Graveguard as sort of its core, is going to perform so much better. But sadly, I don't know that they have access to the kinds of buildings that make that possible. I don't know that there are such buildings. I think the garrison of these undead forces is just always kind of bad. They are not a defensive faction. Okay, so that's a major. This is a minor. Out of curiosity, how are you doing relationship-wise with... Okay, you're at war with the Cathayans, but it's not enough. Yeah, we're getting 58 points of approval. 60, I guess, from our war with the Caravan of Blue Roses, and that's only enough to get us to negative 90. We are certainly never getting any trade contracts with Cathay. All right, fair enough. Now we got to actually make a decision here. If I don't crush these armies... Yeah, okay. I guess this is a major concern. If we don't crush these armies and we just sail away from them, they probably sail to our home country and make things awkward. So I guess we have to show some... We have to show some resistance. My guess is
The crew are restless.
we're going to move up to attack range here. Gosh, is that... That is not very close to the edge of that circle. Well, try it. My guess is we're going to ride up here and they're going to bail and we're not going to have the movement to chase them.
Make
Actually, the balance in the auto power bar is a little bit on their side. Never mind. I was going to say, oh, so maybe they won't even fight us. How on earth do you figure I'm going to lose the Queen Bess? What? Debating whether I think this is worth manually fighting, because we can just put another Queen Bess in the pool. We have the cooldown right now. If I make it a lightning strike that doesn't involve the reinforcements, I get a cleaner win for some reason. That's pretty weird. Bonus leadership on Queen Bess. Does that fix it? No. Maybe we do want to just auto resolve or manually resolve this for safety, because the thing is we won't be able to re-recruit the Queen Bess until we are back in friendly territory, which might be a while yet. Although I think we can do it in allied territory, so I guess as soon as we hit the shore to the east, we could be in Skaven territory and re-recruit there. You know, let's just do it. Let's go for the manual. I would rather not lose my best cannon to some fucking silliness. So, how many units of elven archers are we looking at here? Just 3. They have a lot of cav, 4 units of cavalry. They have a lot of dragons. Dragons are very bad against massed rifles, as we have seen in the past. I will say Pete Wakefield's army... Oh, interesting. So if we just form up here, I wonder what will happen. Because we could basically, you know, form a firing arc around their reinforcements. Or we could set up over here, push forward. We don't have lightning strike on our reinforcement army, so they're going to come in pretty slowly. Well, yeah, what are the timers exactly? 134 versus 215. So we're a little faster than they are. And they set up pretty neutral. 215 is enough time for them to close. I worry that if we try to set up a like wipe them out as they enter the map situation, what's actually going to happen is we're just going to get sandwiched real bad. So let's say, gosh, this ridge is the only place on the entire map where guns are going to be superior to bows, though. Here, let me get this out of the way. We're not going to do a channel magic. Or like back here. So they have a single siege thing, and it has 418 range. We do have the range advantage. If we wanted to set up... I can't mouse over the reinforcement troops, so I can't get a sense of the range of the catapults. But this terrain is surely very disadvantageous for us. We could set up over here. Like, if I put you there, you have firing range, right? Yeah. Trying to find a spot where I think my guns will be able to do anything at all. And this is a spot where the AI absolutely could just run away from my cannons, but I don't think they will. They don't usually have the wherewithal for stuff like that. So we set the gunners up like over here, and then we have a little bit of field to fire across. We'll just kind of put them wherever right now, because they're gonna have to move post deployment. And in fact, that's true of a lot of our units. So let's just kind of put them down. Do you have range? Well, you will as things clear the trees. Yeah. So all of our units that aren't artillery have to do a little bit of reset here. That's maybe a little bit wide. It's more like this, because there is a downslope over here that we want to be careful of. Playing against the edge of the battlefield here is a little bit unfair in the sense that, like, I'm disadvantaging their cavalry in a way that doesn't make any goddamn sense for the battlefield. But, because, like, obviously in a real war you would just ride 10 feet further to the right. But they can't do anything about it, and these are the goddamn rules of the game. So, sorry, friends. I guess I could have put, if I had thought this through a little bit more, I could have decided that a bunch of my units were going to live in the trees over there and had them start the map hidden. In the end, I don't know how much it matters. And I will keep the crabs just kind of out and in the way. Actually, maybe the crabs should be hidden and the storm vermin should be out and in the way. Because the storm vermin have shields. They'll do a little bit, they'll perform a little bit better against all the archery nonsense. Maybe the crabs are like, yeah. Okay. Okay. You're going to actually, do we massively buff? Oh, we lost vision. Shoot. I don't have anybody who can really get it back. How fast are you, Pete? 47? No, you will just get ridden down by enemy cavalry. Yeah, shit. If we had a unit of flyers, that's going to make things more awkward, for sure. So I might want to hold off on Enchanted Ballistics until we can see more of the enemy army. The Queen Bess is already fairly accurate. Trying to shoot the dragons. You know what? Let's go ahead and issue the attack here. Wow, yeah, good shot. That is a fair number of them downed already. We are just going to accept some fire. Their leadership is going to hell very quickly. And mostly what I'm waiting for here is the reinforcements to get in position. It doesn't behoove us to approach at all, really, so... Garma, don't chase. Alright, they've abandoned... We didn't actually manage to destroy any of their bolt throwers, but they've just fully abandoned the field. And now the Queen Bess is trying to kill dragons. The AI siege weapons hate dragons. We have so many units. Re-ammo the Queen Bess already. I'm gonna have the Queen Bess retarget to enemy ranged. Alright, so we have enemy units, or we have reinforcements. I'm going to, let's see here. We'll set up the other Necrofex Colossus back here. What we can do with a lot of these new units is kind of put them in position to watch for the enemy reinforcements. But we have to be very careful because, again, I think a lot of the terrain here really advantages archery. I don't know how this army has a zombie pirate deckhand mob in it. That feels like an error. We'll fix that. Where's my other catapult? Did it not make it onto the field yet? Because this army definitely has 2 catapults. Did it replace one of them with... Wait, what happened? Okay, something ain't right here. Only 400 range on the Plague Claw catapult. I think I will have this thing also face this way. Oh, I know what happened. So the Necrofex Colossus has an ability that when it hits a certain... Yeah, when it hits 50%, it creates a unit of deckhands. Basically, like, a bunch of the zombies that are on the ship jump off of it. And because you're only allowed to have 40 units on the battlefield at a time, they have kept our last... This thing, which came onto the battlefield at 50% HP, immediately ejected deckhands. All right, I'm going to tell these deckhands to get the fuck off the battlefield because there is no reason for them to exist. Once they're gone, I think we will get our catapults. We'll pull up some more. Actually, the gunnery white for this army should probably hang out with the gun units. What, did we just lose sight of their... Huh. Alright. I'm doing a ground target there. We are firing for a position rather than at a unit. This is really interesting. So wait, who has range over here? The Plague Claw. Okay. So the other unit, the catapult's right there. Shield Storm Vermin up here. And it says they have firing range. I'm not sure why they're not shooting. Well, the question is, do we just press one of them? Because we could do a crab charge, right? We have artillery just kind of like shelling nothing over here. And it's entirely possible that there is stuff that we are hitting because we know that their army is larger than this and we just can't see the units that are in the valley. But maybe what we do instead is we just sort of like crab line the trees here and then push this army with all 40 units. We have a ton of magic to spend. We can try to just like really force this as fast as possible. They're going to keep perfectly dodging out of the way of all artillery fire because that's the thing the AI can do. They know where every shot will land as soon as it is fired because the AI is the one calculating where it lands. So honestly, maybe we already even have enough. Like, I want to make sure I have a counter charge for if this army starts to come forward. But yeah, I think let's I'm gonna move a bunch of our gunners into these trees, and then we're gonna make a move. And if they don't respond, if they do respond by pushing forward, we'll just try to gun down their dragons and stuff as they approach. For right now, we can just let the artillery continue firing. We're getting some damage out of the Plague Claws, at least. Very, very small amounts of damage on this Feral Stegodon. Make sure you're in guard mode. Don't suppose y'all could like fire into the... Oh, they moved their horses far enough forward to actually get caught by the deck gunners. That was unwise. 3 units of deck gunners will shred a unit of cavalry instantly. Okay, here comes all of the everything. And now I'm gonna wish I hadn't moved my my guns. All right, well, y'all fuck them up. We have at least a couple units of rotting Prometheans here. So let's start riding forward. So we need to provide a little bit of cover for these gunners. How do I want to... I'm going to have these units of Prometheans step up a little bit. And I think the deck gunners, like, do the deck gunners run forward? We want to produce a position where I can be shooting at the enemy, right? Deck gunners are not very fast, but they're useless where we have them now. The catapults can just fire over the intervening trees, but as soon as these things, you know, like, the deck gunners already can't shoot most of these enemies. So the storm vermin move to here. The crabs move up to positions to defend the new deck gunner position. The ogres move further up into the trees. The Necrofex Colossus probably goes with them. I'm a little worried about the health on that thing, but it probably makes sense. A unit of storm vermin that's just kind of sitting here, doing nothing. That's probably wrong. You know, as much as it is dangerous to have a unit exposed, like, we need to have something over there to prevent the cavalry move. And then... yeah, y'all are good. Here's a question. Does the gunnery white go with them, or does it stay to buff the catapults? It probably goes with them. Yeah. In fact, it probably gets all the way over here. I'm going to throw up a quick buff on the catapults before we move. All right, I'm going to maintain a lot of this. The Necrofex Colossus will be able to shoot at these dragons as they come in and should actually be able to do a fair amount of damage to them. The crabs who are in this part of the forest probably need to come up. Because we need them shooting at the large stuff. You probably don't have to run all the way forward. But we're gonna get dragoned here real bad, and we gotta be ready for it. So let's pull Pete Wakefield back to here. Pete is a dragon slayer of some renown, right? Plus 25 bonus versus large, so 75 melee attack with sundering. If the dragon tries to land in the artillery, which is what I assume it's going to do, we need to have an answer for that. And yeah, I think that's the plan for the moment. We need Annie Salt Spray just kind of in the area where the fighting is happening. She doesn't need to necessarily be doing a whole lot, but she just needs, her pistol needs to be live, right? She just needs to be able to shoot into the enemies. The Haunter stays in the trees for the moment, and we'll get moved in when it makes sense to move in. Actually, maybe I should move the Haunter around the side now, because this thing has stalk, right? So it stays, I believe, it has Strider. Yeah, it has stalk. So it stays hidden even when in the open, unless something's close to it. So we can have it execute a move where they think they are safe, and then suddenly there is an enemy on that side. But yeah, we're going to need to bring down a lot of dragons real fast. Well, get to mobilizing, friends. I don't know who these assholes think they are. Just deciding to rejoin the battle. Alright. Crabs and shit took the charge. Problem solved. Let's start solving other problems. Alright, so Pete. Can we get a spiteful shot? It doesn't really matter who. Just like one of the handgun mobs should get buffed all to hell. And then also, this thing has too short of a range to use it the way I want to use it. It seems like maybe they're planning to dragon the forest in general, which I think is pretty bad for us. That's pretty bad news. The gunners are executing this move admirably. Really hoping that the dragons elect to fight the other units. We got to move Pete. Pete's got to get back over here if this is the way of things. And we're probably going to have a lot of those dragons retreat through the forest. All right, you stay laser focused on this nerd. Re-ammo the big cannon one more time. I can't order them to focus their gunfire on anything, the crabs, which is a little awkward, but whatever, they'll be fine. I do not think we are getting flank charged over here, so I'm going to move up so that we have more guns available for this. And artillery units. Let's retarget the artillery a bit. So we have some shadow warriors. Yeah, you know what? Plague claw catapults on the shadow warriors. Mortars on... There were some units of elite infantry. I cannot see them at the moment. I don't hate just killing the Saurus warriors, though. Actually, sorry, what am I doing? Those are spears. We have to care about spears. Our infantry is large, so spears are actually a huge problem for us. And I think I am the way this battle is shaking up. I am going to run our gunnery white around the side here. Okay, the dragon seems to have stopped to fight the crabs. Gives us a pretty good firing solution. Yep, unfortunately, dragon breath is a problem that we can't really deal with. All right, one dragon down. Immediate refocus. This moon dragon's taking a hell of a beating, which rules. Let's get some spellcasting out here. The Invocation of Nahak, restoring HP. Got to get these rifles back on their feet. Also, is she in range to... No, the Helm of Discord actually has a very short range. Oh, right, it's not a targeted thing. Okay, so she should be running forward, actually. Alright, if they're going to try that charge, go ahead and just blunt it. I'm going to move my Skaven forward a bit too. Alright, now that we've issued that move, let's recast the spell, because I canceled the spell cast by having her try to do other stuff. I want to get as many, there we go. 3 of the gunner units, or 4 of the gunner units in the circle. We'll have to do. Yeah, just ride up on the dragon that's landed, I suppose. This is also a good time to start using our own magics. So if we overcast this, it lasts 35 seconds, and it just absolutely shreds their ability to do melee damage. It is a really, really powerful debuff. And it looks like they are bringing some melee back around this way. Yeah, well, 49 melee defense, not a lot of armor, but he does have the hunger and stuff. He'll be useful here. Can I get... I had to move forward to get the grenade throws. I probably just want to wait then. Yeah, the storm vermin are coming, but they're going to get there real slowly, unfortunately. The Queen Bess definitely needs to turn as well. I don't really know where I even want it firing, honestly. We have units firing on those guys already. Yeah. Seaguard with shields. And actually, this is probably the time for the shanty. All right, all the tricks up at once. Let's go. redirect Pete here. Let's nuke the melee stats of nearby enemies. And now that the enemy infantry is like a little bit more committed, I think we can probably do a great big Vangeist's Revenge across this front and just like crush these spear units before they have time to deal much damage. Yeah, something like that. Should be fine. Our gunner units are in position. Ugh, these Illyrian Reavers are going to do a lot of damage. I do not like this at all. Camera, come on. Play along just a little bit. Let's quickly retarget on the Illyrian Reavers because the things coming in from this side are mostly under control. You have come close enough that I do get to grenade you for free. Okay. Definitely good to keep something over here. I had a feeling. They just had too much cavalry, you know? Why wouldn't they use some of it like this? All right, so we got some dragons panicking. I think I am going to have... I'm debating whether I want this thing trying to burn down those Reavers. Direct cannon fire on horses is, like, absolutely devastating. Yeah, let's do that. Stay focused. Try to keep the cannons safe. You should refocus on a new dragon and just generally be in guard mode. And we can sort of do offhand grenade tosses as the as those enemies get closer. Actually, you know what? One of the crabs can give chase too. We don't have to let them determine how this goes. All right, we have a much better view of the enemy archers now. They've actually committed to positions, which makes me feel a lot safer pulling up the ogres. Let's start bringing our ogres forth and breaking stuff. Actually, can all y'all just shoot that dragon for a minute? We'll get to other things, but there's a lot of dragons. What gotta die? I wonder, are my guns best applied here? It's probably fine. I probably need to stop trying to micromanage it so much. Do we want to throw up sacrificial units? Like, probably not. It probably doesn't make much difference. We can provide... When I overcast this... It is a lot of bonus melee attack. Okay, these ones are dealing with a lot. We're burning through our magic really fast, but I think we're getting good effect out of it. Okay, I had to be honest with you. I thought the Illyrians were coming forward to charge the Haunter, but in fact, all they did was run into the area of the Vangeist's Revenge. So let's retarget the deck gods then, because I wasn't expecting those units to simply unmake themselves. Ooh, they got lion-drawn chariots in the melee. These things are actually pretty fierce in melee combat, if I'm not mistaken. But the problem is they're anti-infantry, and they're matched up against our unusual infantry cavalry. Well, so we still have some dragons that are... I mean, I'm not really that worried about the dragons that are fleeing. They're gonna get their guts back. They're gonna come back into the battle at some point. But the fact is, they will simply get gunned down instantly on their way back in because their health is so low. I think what I actually want to do, now that we broke this side of the battle so badly, is put my gunners up here. They will have such an advantage in this position. And then we can... Storm Vermin and... Yeah, I definitely want the Haunter getting into the battle. I probably don't want to wait for a more optimal position. No, I think we just charge forward here. So the gunners are doing that. You are just moving up to here and also firing the Necrofex Colossus. One thing that's important to remember about the Necrofex Colossus is that it does not lose fire time while moving. It can shoot while walking, which is very fun. The plate call catapults are kind of like, I wonder if we should move them forward, because it's this stuff that they need to be hitting. Well, all right, y'all focus on this. These 3 units can focus more like over here. Definitely still in position to do that. These things tried to get around us, but we caught them with the side of the storm vermin formation. And all of these ogres. I think we just get over here and we charge their archers. They've left back a couple units of spears, or these spears are coming forward and they're just slow. Could be. Pete, would you stay focused, buddy? I need you to do some murdering here. Yeah, there's like a whole mess of dragons fucking up some of our people. I can just drop a big area of effect on the archers. So make their life a lot more difficult as the ogres move toward them. Yes, a lot of magic. But I do think it's worth it. Alright, so he's headed toward the dragons.
Eager to kill with haste.
Here comes the tentacle monster.
No more delays. At last. Don't stop.
Alright, let's definitely get another invocation down. We need more healing. The rifles are doing pretty well now that the dragons have stopped breathing fire. And I kind of want to reposition them out of the woods so that they have cleaner shots, because like the trees actually do block their line of sight. The trees will interrupt the line of travel of a projectile, I mean. These storm vermin definitely need to actually move up. These horses are almost gone. And we will redirect stuff when the horses are properly off the map. And yeah, ogre charge, right? I think I just put them all in melee mode and fucking speed and wait, fellas.
Many a pistol! Ogres attack! The more calls! Many a pistols!
Alright. Bunch of the dragons are on the run. Like I said, Pete Wakefield is a renowned dragon slayer. Can I do this in such a way that I catch the dragons and their infantry with the debuff? Yes, I can. Would I be? I'm probably better off doing it over here. This is a much larger number of units. Okay, they have a small unit of Silver and Guard. For the most part, our Storm Vermin are in position. They are doing the thing that needs doing. Need y'all to turn around. Need you to turn around and catch that. You lot need to move up like this. Create threats. Be useful. So our Rotting Prometheans are taking a real beating. And we can, to be clear, we can recruit more Rotting Prometheans outside of friendly territory by just using global recruitment. The only reason that there's any question at all about the Queen Bess is because the Queen Bess is specifically a regiment of renown and has different rules. So I'm not so worried about us losing some crabs. If we lose crabs, we will get them back. We will get them back on offense on the march. Yeah, fuck these Silver and Guard. Don't let them force me to rearrange things. And she's fine. She made it out. She's okay. Let's focus on a moon dragon. You just charge in there. I would really love to get this unit of crabs disengaged from all of the spears. I think at this point we can disable the melee charge because actually all of the archers broke from the spell cast. So let's turn off. Let's make sure melee mode is off on all of these units, and try to separate out a little bit for a. Okay, they broke that thing real fast too. Yeah, try to separate out a little bit for some flank fire. One of these units is going to remain stuck on. Oh no, the Illyrian Reavers are actually dead already. Okay, cool. Gosh, you are really out there. That makes me very nervous. Why don't you pop your speed buff too? Get the fuck back over here. All right, we are running real low on winds. I'm gonna stop casting for a minute. Okay, so we got them held up. There goes the fog. Excellent cannon fire. Yep, fantastic work from the Morngul. Look at the size difference.
Biggest in the tribe.
Get him. I think they're considering cavalry charging me. Like with their units that are recovering. Nope, they broke again. Even just getting close to the ogres was enough to completely shatter them. Alright, Storm Vermin. Do this thing, because horses, ink. Actually, one of the units of deck gunners can turn around and fix that too. And then, yeah, we have terrifying coverage at this point. Now that this situation is resolved, we ran those Illyrian Reavers off of the battlefield. Let's get these units turned back around. So there are still live dragons, somehow. That's this Feral Stegodon. Yeah, you know what? Turn around and shoot this Feral Stegodon. Pete's going to get to it eventually, but good to have some bodies on it now. Did these guys finish their move? They did. Okay. Let's get a little bit of focus. Probably the Sun Dragon. We can try to ride up. That's an Archmage in a pretty exposed position. Yeah, that might be the move. Well, actually, you know what? Can y'all just eliminate that? Let's have the ogres collapse on something else. Or the ogres run up and just fire into the flanks of the enemies. And you can stay on these lion chariots. They're basically shattered already. I definitely think that with our remaining magic, we're going to cast a little bit more healing. Try to get as many of these crab units as we can with it. And remember, every time she heals, because of the lore of Vampire's benefit, every single time she heals, she does, she pulses healing to every one of our units on the entire map.
Gunnery wide.
Alright. They have broken. They have surrendered. I really like the way the ogres and the gunnery crabs let you create this sort of like closing hinge that is shooting guns the entire time it's moving. It's very difficult for the enemies to keep up with. Alright, a decisive victory, and I think we might actually have lost 0 units there. I think we lost nothing instead of losing crabs instead of the Queen Bess. Yeah, Pete took most of the losses, and Pete's army looks fine. Honestly, a lot of what died was just dragon breath to the rifles. And that was just because I got too excited. Like, my initial positioning was probably right, with those rifles. And then I was like, oh no, they're redirecting. We're going to also redirect and catch them in the side. But I should have just left the rifles up on the hill where they were. And then had the rifles execute that like hinge maneuver. So we destroyed approximately 2/3 of both of those forces. A little over 2/3 of both of those forces. Including killing or grievously wounding all of their big stupid dragons. I think the wizards mostly survived. I didn't actually get around to killing the wizards. Really pathetic kill numbers from the mortars, given the amount of time they had to fire into massed infantry. I feel like the mortars seemed to have a much better kill rate in the previous campaign that I played with this faction. Way back in Total War Warhammer 2. I wonder if they did change them. Do we don't want to just return to full over the 2,000 gold? I think so.
There is only my will.
Okay.
Admiral of the fleet.
Let's make sure we're staying
Sails up.
nice and close. Don't want anybody getting picked out.
Has the crew's respect.
Okay, now we are not healing out here by default. It is a thing that is worth remembering. Do we have all of the magic stuff that I wanted from her? Yeah. Okay, so we have to pick now Forger versus Smuggler versus whatever, and it's got to be Smuggler, right? Like, her biggest problem right now is that she has a hard time keeping up with Pete. That is shark bait points for you, probably. Yeah, it looks like everything else is solid. Henri proving himself, I think, in that battle quite admirably, doing a lot of good aggressive damage. Missile resistance is going to be tremendously important as long as we're in elf country.
The seas are mine.
Pete has hit max level. After these 2 skill points, he will never get to skill again. So let's make sure we are taking the things that matter. We'll probably never benefit from Deadly March. Honestly, we'll probably never benefit from Masterly Splicing. And on top of that, Masterly Splicing is kind of just not that good. 5 melee defense, 10% speed. So we can finish out his magic. We could grab a pointed spiteful shot. Yeah, it could be like tenacity and lucky charm. Just really, really toughen him up. Because he is scary, right? He did a lot of damage in that battle. I don't know that I'm ever going to cast Tide Call, is one thing. So it does feel like Tide Call points might just be wasted. I think I'm going to grab Tenacity. Well, there's Master Strike too. We could take 2 points in Master Strike, but his damage output's good enough already. I think what's more valuable is making sure he stays in the battle. Let's just take the toughness points. Pete Wakefield, of course, is long past having interesting things to do with his skill points. All right, there's a couple of elven navies in the area, but they are horribly, horribly broken. I do wish we had killed off a couple of these dragons, I guess, in hindsight, just thinking about the fact that they'll be replenishing because we're in friendly waters, but
Even the Lawmaster could not.
whatever, we'll deal. Who has unassigned skill points?
Salt spite.
Charles Fenn, the Gunnery White in RNS's army. Okay, that's fine. At this point, he's literally he doesn't have enough skill points or skill spaces to use all of the points he's getting. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. So we constructed our outpost, or began construction of our outpost already with our ally. We have some things left to build. We have all of this money. I feel like I should do something with it. Miragliano... Yeah, I was going to say, Miragliano can't be finished. We just upgraded it so recently. And Margarita next turn will have another build slot open. And we'll have some things that want to get improved. Okay. Well, this ought to keep the elves busy for a minute, huh?
Blood and plunder.
Blood and plunder indeed. Now we get to see how fast these elven ships sail. Because they have, like, one chance to get away from me. So at this point, the objective that we are farthest from is the elimination of the all of the vampire factions. We're pretty close to done with the Blue Roses, but the Barrow Legion has apparently turned into a juggernaut, even though it was basically eliminated not all that long ago. The AI just hates finishing things. So I wonder if we're going to have to be responsible for that as well. Oh, here comes the big navy out of Eatane. Taking advantage of the friendly harbor. That's smart. Oh, here are the rest of the elves. We might have to sail home, actually. It might be a good idea for us to just bounce. I think we did some good damage there, but it's actually looking like maybe they are massing up in a way that's unsafe for us to deal with. All three of those armies will show up to battle together. Now, like I said, they can only do... you can only have 40 units on the battlefield at a time. But if you bring a third army, you know, you'll just have 20 whole units in reserve. So every time one of your units gets beat up, another one shows up. It's not as good as it sounds. It's certainly not as good as having 50% more army. Because as you have seen, by the time units are actually being eliminated or are beat up enough that they are fleeing the battlefield, generally the momentum of the battle is already so against the person who's losing units that having new units show up at the very edge of the map isn't enough to change anything. So a bunch of guys running up late after the battle is completed, and they'll be trickling in, right? Because the units don't die all at once, so it's not like you will get 20 units and get to march forward as a block. And in fact, sometimes a third army actually makes your force weaker, because for some reason, the way the game processes the reinforcements is it brings in the first 10 units from both of your reinforcement armies, leaving the back 10 units off the map. And because of the way the game automatically organizes units and does not allow you to reorganize them, the front 10 units will be whatever is like sort of most melee in your army. And then the back 10 will be all of your cannons and stuff.
The crew are restless.
We're in pretty good shape.
Admiral of the fleet.
But I don't have range to attack any of these forces. Yeah, red arrow. Red arrow. If Pete could come over here and get a lightning strike in on somebody,
Ships are weaker than paper.
that might be interesting. But I think we're going to have to just bail.
A done deal.
I think they've got a really good position on us there. All right, well, let's have Aranessa
In their boots.
run down here and deal with the village of the Tiger Men real fast. Or
Admiral of the fleet.
is that how I want to do this? Hanyu Port. Let me move up and get a little vision of Hanyu Port. I'm wondering if maybe we should stay together because we know that the faction leader is out there somewhere, right? Hanyu Port is not very developed and it doesn't really have much in the way of recruitment buildings. We don't know anything about Shillong. Shillong has 6 slots full though, so it could have all kinds of stuff. And then the village of the Tiger Men is mostly utility. It does have Graveguard recruitment. Yeah, maybe I bring Aranessa back with Henrietta. I'm so eager to get this over with, but I don't want to let that eagerness trick me into a big mistake. Maybe Hanyu Port is last? Because I think we're going to have to get back into this ocean to start sailing back home. And yeah. Why don't we do this? Why don't we have Henrietta
Admiral of the fleet.
just head this way? We're doing a really good job of spreading vampiric corruption. And obviously the lands were already pretty corrupted. But unfortunately, it doesn't affect these enemies.
Moving. Fleet captain reporting.
All right, I'm going to have Wendy head over here and be a scout for... What?
Time to move.
Don't run into each other. What are you, the Three Stooges? Just keep moving.
Need a swordfish.
My units, I swear. All right, this will be kind of like the area of their final stand. We'll come around and grab them later.
Of the seas.
Yeah, if we sail hard for home, there's no way they catch us,
Never.
right? Tyrion's actually pretty fucking fast.
It is your decision.
We could sail hard for the Galleon's graveyard instead. And hope that maybe they just won't have time to go get it. Definitely think it's time to build the garrison. Because we do have to be holding this at game's end. But there's all this to deal with. Like, these two armies are going to be on defense for the entire game. And it's going to be Aranessa Saltspite coming back home and attacking these armies. Or attacking these forces. That gets us to the ending. I was hoping to be able to press forward and make a little something happen. But it looks unlikely to work out that way.
3 sheets to the wind.
All right.
Setting sail.
The sea knows my
What I'm going to do here is try to sail into a position where I can split the difference if I want. Gentleman Jenkins.
stirs the currents.
The Empire.
Which one are you? Zombie gunnery mob handguns. So a specialized rifle unit actually would be pretty handy. I didn't realize you were down here. Not that I could have attacked you anyway. Old Tom Bloodletter is back and ready to rejoin an army.
I have sailed the world.
Yeah, he got popped out of somebody's force, I guess. Well, try to catch up, I guess. Oh, there's Helmengorst, actually.
I refuse.
With an army that's better than some of the ones we've seen, but still, it's like a lot of... at least he's got some Graveguard. This is not scary. So I think I'm going to abandon Scrap Tower at this point because I don't want him to be able to take it from us. If he's going to take it, I want him to have to do the slow resettle. Our enemy is being held back by the Nurgle forces, which is fine. Yeah, let's bail out of here. Demolish this building. Abandon the settlement. Shattered Stone Bay I will actually try to hold on to. We'll see. We'll see how he approaches. Because it has some utility in getting us out of here. It allows us to hit the water more quickly. We will absolutely abandon it as soon as we're done with our business in the area. So an awful lot of Oracles of Tzeentch armies kind of just sailing back and forth, not really doing anything of value. God, they are trying to travel so far from home, and they keep getting caught up in, like, there's a significant objective to the north and a significant objective to the south, and they never commit to anything. They will go halfway across the world north and then just turn around and go for the south thing instead, and then when that army gets close to it, that army will turn around and go for the north thing, and there's no way to get them to, like, stay on track, stay on target. So just kind of useless as allies. Even when you have specifically asked for help, I find that the AI do this a lot, where they will just have two armies dance back and forth between their objective and your objective. And I don't know, like, could you solve this by giving the AI, giving the planning AI a more significant weight on the thing that it's already doing? Maybe, but do you risk having them, like, be too predictable then? Having it be too easy to trap them? Having them be unwilling to give up on a losing cause? Notice that the Barrow Legion is considerably less powerful than we are at this point. The green-red bar here only measures active military size, and it measures it in a sort of a weird way where, like, one army is not necessarily always worth the same amount of bar, because what it's doing is it's trying to total up some number of stats. But in any case, what that means is that despite the fact that the Barrow Legion has a ton of territory right now, it seems like they probably don't really have that many troops. Capture and occupy a settlement belonging to enemies of the Drowned for a little bit of a reputation boost with the Drowned. I kind of don't care.
Fleet captain, reporting.
The Drowned and I are as tight as we are ever going to need to be.
Undead raiders.
Alright, well, Wendy will run forward and scout the territory, and then Henrietta will follow.
Scales and salt.
This gets done real quick and real easily.
The tides rise. To battle.
Even more infamy. Can you believe it?
Avast ye and cheer.
What are we at, actually? 50k. You know, no big deal.
On my domain.
Did Gentleman Jenkins fully bailed on us? What a coward. So the Galleon's Graveyard has a tiny, shitty little garrison.
Sea dog. By your will.
I might have Pete just go for it. Have Annie fall back to play defense. I'm gonna send her to Magritta. Yeah, okay. We'll deal with the elf territory, the elf stuff on land.
Yes. Sails up. Plotting a course.
So this is where the storm that is surrounding the Galleon's Graveyard border is. We'll just wait at the cloud line essentially, and then charge in next turn. Tom is trying desperately to catch up. He will probably never do anything meaningful again. Oh, Alhaik is finished upgrading. Cool. Let's get all of those money-making buildings, and then probably also, like, just some generic recruitment stuff. Yeah, like every province probably benefits from having gun and crab buildings. Although, wait, where the zombie... Gosh, the Rotting Promethean's gunnery mob comes from the same building that the rifles come from. What a faction. What a ridiculous faction. Yeah, I guess other crab building? We're pretty good at pulling Necrofex Colossi already. But it's nice to have that be as broad as possible. We have very nearly capped out our, like, territory as a whole. And I really don't feel the need to expand. If anything, we kind of have too much already. I just needed to do this to keep the Khemri from replenishing. Yeah, okay. Let's see how the elves respond to this. I'm curious if there will be any play to defend the Galleon's Graveyard. Because, like, it can't be very important to them. There is no chance that it actually matters. This army is doing a remarkable job of staying on a single target. And I do appreciate that. It's a shame Kairos Fateweaver doesn't seem to be up to the task, because he is very powerful. As far as faction leading units go, I do think he is one to be scared of. We dealt those armies such a crushing defeat that they're retreating all the way to the inner circle of Ulthuan. They're like, nope, combat's just not for me. This is simply not how I want to live my life. All right, the Skaven are pushing the Wood Elf territory away from my borders a little bit, which I really appreciate. The last thing I need is to come under attack from a new angle, right? As long as we can stay focused on basically the one direction, these two armies are enough for all of our defense. If a new front opened up, I don't know what I would do. All right, people are desperately trying to kill Tom. Tom is not very popular among our enemies, which is weird because I don't think he's had the opportunity to do basically anything. We could have him just try to pull some map actions. He doesn't have any of the relevant buffing skills, but he is level 21, and that helps a lot. The hero's level is a very significant factor in the success chance of stuff. Oh, hey, we finished this thing. So, this is probably where we ought to call it for today. But things are looking pretty good for us and pretty bad for most of our enemies, except, of course, the Barrow Legion, who will remain a thorn in our side for, gosh, it seems like such a very long time. When you come back next time, we're going to try to cross a couple of items off of our big objective list, and then it's just a matter of figuring out how the hell we're going to make it all the way over to Imperial lands. And we'll see you then.